Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, brother, nobody I am. Remember. Hint, hint. Acha. Have you seen the moon yet?
Not yet.
You haven't seen the moon yet?
I haven't. I can't say that.
It's a big thing outside in the sky.
I know. Unfortunately, it's not dark enough yet in my area, so I haven't seen it now.
Oh, okay. So when you see it, does that mean it's Eid?
I believe so.
We should ask an expert. So
I wonder what that could be.
I wonder what we've got planned for today.
I wonder.
Ask brother Asim Senior.
Brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. Did you have parante this morning as well?
I didn't.
You
I didn't wake up for Seri. I woke up for Fajr.
Rumors have it on social media that you had gobi.
Gobi?
Gobi parathe.
No.
And aloo parathe.
I've never had gobi, or I've never had gobi paratha. I don't know. That's not a thing, is it? Is that a thing?
No, it must be. Maybe ask at home. I don't know. I don't eat this ethnic type food. I eat.
Of course you don't.
No, I eat sausages and egg and chips.
Sophisticated you are.
I am. And I like dunking biscuits.
MashaAllah.
So what we got in plan for today, brother Asim?
The plan is there's quite a lot to pack in actually in just over an hour. So we are announcing the winners of the poetry competition. Brother Bilal will be coming on to announce the winners. And that would be about 8:30-ish. Obviously, we've got Brother Asim, who's going to be reciting. First of all, he's going to recite Quran, and then he will.
I think Hisham said he's going to come on for the Quran.
Oh, is he? Okay, this is confused messages.
Rumors I've had it, he's on vacation and he's taking a break.
Okay, well, I think you should speak to his agent and figure out what's happening there.
Okay, let me go and talk to his mum.
Okay. And then obviously Qasaid, and then we also have a special guest who will be talking about a little bit about astronomy actually, and obviously it's a blessed month in terms of Ramadan generally, and we often talk about the beginning of the month on an Islamic calendar is the beginning, is seeing the new crescent. Assalamu alaikum, Hisham. So
how are you, brother Asim? How are you?
I'm good. I'm in the middle of something at the moment, if you don't mind not interrupting. But we can talk about how I am in a minute. But yeah, so basically, Sister Ismat will be coming on to talk a little bit about the moon, the different moon phases, when to look for the moon, how to look for the moon. I think we were, and then we'll talk a little bit actually about how blessed we were actually. There are lots of different people in High Wycombe who were out searching for the moon for the beginning of Ramadan, and we're hoping that they will be out searching for the moon for the beginning of Eid as well, and hopefully we'll be able to go through that. So that's what we've got planned for today. Is that exciting?
Ecstatic.
Okay. If you think it's exciting and you're as ecstatic as Brother Asim is, then like and share and comment on the live chat thing as well. I also think, to be honest, we should give a shout out to Abu Bakr, because he's always there on the live chat saying, please make sure you like it. So yeah, big up Abu Bakr and Idris. For some reason, it's Idris's Kitchen. I didn't realize Idris had a cooking channel, but maybe we should check that out as well. But without further ado, because as I say, we do have a lot packed. We've also got Maulana Thaman, who should be coming on for a reminder as well. So there's quite a lot to get in. So I'm going to pass over to Hisham, who will carry on with his Juz 30.
Inshallah, we're going from Surah Shams today. So we read Surah Balad yesterday. So Surah Shams to Surah Sharh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للعسرى وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى الذي كذب وتولى وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى ولسوف يرضى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب صدق الله العظيم.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So while we're waiting, hopefully for Sister Ismet is online, so I'm going to pass over to Brother Asim, and inshallah we're going to have a couple of kasai, maybe Qamarun for the benefit of we're going to be talking about the moon as well.
Inshallah.
But unless you've obviously got something else planned, which I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I'll do this one first. I had planned, then I'll do the other one.
Okay, Bismillah, inshallah.
يا سيدي ارحم لنا 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 يا سيدي إن التيا ريح الصبا يوما إلى أرض الحرم. إن التيا ريح الصبا يوما إلى أرض الحرم. بلغ سلامي روضة، بلغ سلامي روضة فيها النبي المحترم. الله 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 الله. ما وجهه شمس الضحى، من خده بدر الدجى. ما وجهه شمس الضحى، من خده بدر الدجى. من ذاته نور الهدى، من كفه بحر الحمم. من ذاته نور الهدى، من كفه بحر الحمم. الله 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 الله. قرآنه برهاننا فسخا لأديان مضت. قرآنه برهاننا فسخا لأديان مضت. إذا جاءنا أحكامه كل الصحف مرى العدم. إذ جاءنا أحكامه كل الصحف مرى العدم. يا سيدي ارحم لنا، يا سيدي ارحم لنا، يا سيدي ارحم لنا، يا سيدي ارحم لنا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله. قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي، قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل. وجميل ستر النبي وجميل اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, Brother Asim. So as I mentioned, Sister Ismat will be here, or she is online. Ismat, can you
Yes, I can hear you.
can you hear me? And we're going to try to do something again a little bit technical. You're going to share your screen. So did you want to do that now?
Host disabled participation for screen sharing.
One second. One second.
Someone needs to arrange to do that. Okay, so while they're doing that, can you just sort of give a bit of an introduction as to why you're here and what
fine now, inshallah.
you're going to be doing?
Okay.
Oh wow, you've actually got a PowerPoint slide. MashaAllah.
Don't do things by half when you put me on the spot.
Right. To
Okay.
clarify, you were giving plenty of notice.
Yes. Yes, I was given sufficient notice. So I was asked to do this presentation just to talk people through some basics in astronomy. I also wanted to cover why it's important to actually partake in the habit of looking at the skies and other natural phenomena. Just very briefly, I'm going to go through some ayahs of the Quran. Now, I've only got some translation up. I haven't got the Arabic, but there are various places in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to us about the proofs of the, about contemplating the heavens and various creations. And he talks about how the sun and the moon have been subjected to their various orbits, and that provides us the night and day, and that the stars are also subjected by his command, and these are proofs for people who understand. Another excuse me, another ayah of the Quran. Verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of the night and the day, these are indeed signs for men of understanding. And it's really looking at the stars and the planetary, the planets and the other celestial bodies, and appreciating them. And here in this particular ayah, and indeed we have put in the big stars in the heaven, and we have beautified it for the beholder. Now, the big stars, depending on which translation you go for, will also translate in as constellations or the zodiac signs. Also, the mansion of the stars. The mansions of the stars is really more for a term used by astrologers, but it just means that there's particular clusters and groups of stars that have been put in the heavens, and the general beauty of this of the stars in the celestial heavens, and they're there for us to behold, to appreciate, to contemplate on, to think on. And a couple of other ayahs which I came across while putting this presentation together. They also mention, I mean, these particular ones mentioned about the fact that the sun and moon, the moon phases are used for calculating the days and for measuring time. In this ayah here, it says that he is the cleaver of the daybreak and has made the night for rest and the sun and the moon for calculations. We know that all prehistoric people used the sun and the moon for calculations. The data goes back, the data, there are historical sites all around the world where they are, you know, the sites have been constructed in such a way that they are used to calculate the calculate time and the passing of time. And these are all natural cycles that we should be in tune with. And as we know, the creator of time is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is outside of time and space, but he has created that time and space that we are in. So why it's important, there's a phrase, as above, so below. The orbits of the celestial bodies run in harmony. They are in a natural order. And humans and all living things, we have a cyclical manner in which we operate. We live and we are affected by cycles. At least that's how it should be. In our modern lives, we are taken away from the natural cycles and actually put in unnatural cycles. Our lives are governed by the mechanical clock rather than the cycles of the day as dictated by the spinning of the earth. Our month is calculated not by the phases of the moon, but in a different manner. So these are all natural cycles that we should try and align ourselves to. If not align ourselves to, we should certainly try and observe them. Being removed, distracted, and being able to, by removing distractions. So in the month of Ramadan, we're removing distractions. We're coming away, especially in this time of lockdown. We're being removed from distractions. We are observing nature more. The number of people that have said to me, oh my gosh, you know, I can hear the birds singing. And we've all noticed that the birds have got louder, the sky has got clearer. But by removing ourselves from distractions, we become more aware of the true nature, the true essence of time and space. And we start to reconnect with our fitra, which also increases us in it sharpens our awareness, and our capacity to observe more is then sharpened further. So really it's almost like mindfulness, where you're coming into a presence, and by being in that presence, you're sharpening your receptiveness to the natural phenomena. So our spiritual state of awareness is uplifted, and we're enabled by the creation. Also, we talk about lots of people who, you know, feel better after they've gone for a walk in the woods, say, and that's their reconnecting to the nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. By experiencing it more, we can reflect more readily on the creator of all of this splendor. We can contemplate the creator more. We can think more about the creator. It should help us to reflect more on the being of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a being in any way that we can capture in our essence, but it should help us. It should make us think, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this. So for example, in the story of Musa alayhi salam, where he sees the moon and he says, you know, this is my creator, and then when the moon goes down, he says, no, this can't be my creator, it's got to be something more. And then he sees the sun. So in that way we contemplate on our creator. And in this month of Ramadan, it's almost as if the month has been designed to reconnect us to those cycles in our lives, and to provide for us physically as well as our spiritual healing. So obviously, you know, we know a lot about intermittent fasting and the benefits of that for our physical healing, But by connecting to the natural cycles, by waking up, by following the moon phases, by seeing the sun rise, and by praying our salahs on time with the rising of the sun, I mean, we should make an effort to try and observe, you know, where is the sun at this particular salah, you know, at Zohar, what is my shadow looking like? Particularly in these times when we have a lot of time, we're all kind of in lockdown. So we have those extra few minutes actually just to go out and observe the natural phenomena. And all of those observations will help us to reconnect with the natural phenomena. So what I wanted to cover with you today, inshallah, is the moon phases. So this is a very typical diagram of the moon phases. So we have the sunlight coming in from this angle. The moon obviously spins around the Earth. It's an orbital body of the Earth. And then the Earth and the moon in combination go around the sun. But as the moon is spinning around the Earth, we can only see one face of it. So a really interesting fact is that the way that the moon also, the Earth spins on its axis, the moon spins on its own axis, and the moon spinning on its axis is interlinked, it's interlocked with the spinning of the Earth on its axis. So there is only ever one face of the moon that is facing the Earth. Whether we can see it or not, it's only one visible face of the moon that is visible to us, whereas the sun would illuminate all parts of the moon. So first of all, so we have the moon is a new moon, is born. So at this stage where the moon is black, we don't see any moon at all, where it's a new moon. And then it moves into a crescent phase. I'm just gonna come out of this because I don't think you can see it all on the screen. So then the moon goes into the waxing crescent. Sorry, slight technical.
We can see most of it.
You can see most.
Yeah, we can see most of it. Like we
Yes.
can see it's fine. Just it's fine to carry on.
Try and shrink it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the waxing crescent, where the moon is now starting to get larger in size. We have another, I might be able to show you better on this next slide. Okay, so we have the new crescent, and then the waxing crescent. As the moon grows in size, we go to the first quarter, and then it becomes waxing gibbous. When the moon is more than a quarter full, more than a quarter visible, we call it a gibbous. I'm not sure where the name comes from, but it's waxing gibbous. And then we get to full moon, and then it starts to wane, which means that it starts to reduce in size. So it's waning now, and it is almost the way to remember it is you're waning in favor. So it's waning, it's getting smaller. So this is the waning gibbous, and this is the third quarter. We're almost at third quarter now. If people would see the moon now, I'm pretty sure we're pretty much at third quarter now. And then it becomes a waning crescent, and then it's still in the waning crescent phase, and then it will become a new moon again, and the cycle will start again. No, so these are the phases of the moon. What in this diagram, you'll see that the sun is always shining on half of the moon, and then that half of that side that's illuminated we may have some part of the sun, of the moon visible to us. The moon obviously has no light, a way of illuminating itself, like unlike the sun. So it's just reflecting light. And even that aspect of it is mentioned in the Holy Quran. There are ayahs that describe the fact that the moon is only reflecting the radiant light of the sun. And these are all signs for us to appreciate. So the moon, we only see certain aspects of it as it moves around the earth in the month. We'll see certain those parts of it that are illuminated by the sun. Now, at the point where the moon is opposite from the sun, do we get to see the full moon? I think what's really interesting about this diagram is that also, for example, when the sun is setting, oftentimes, you know, you will see the full moon coming up around Maghrib time. So there does seem to be some correlation between the times of day and this diagram, just in terms of what I've observed. So they're basically the moon phases. Other planetary bodies that can be observed. So you have the five the five visible planets. These are made up of Mercury, Venus, which is the closest planet to us, also making it the third brightest object in the sky. We can also see Mars and Jupiter and Saturn, and these can all be viewed by the naked eye. At the moment, if anybody has been out and have had a look at the moon around Seri time or a little bit later than Seri, you would see the moon in this phase of third quarter, and then you have Jupiter and Saturn, the two bright shining stars to the left of the moon at the moment. So if anybody wants to go out and observe the moon at Seri time, that would be fantastic. We had such an amazing response from people when we did the local moon sighting for the moon for Ramadan. It would be really amazing if people got used to looking out for the moon, got used to seeing the moon, and actually helping in spotting the new halal to mark the beginning of each month. I don't know if you have any questions, Asim.
I mean, I think that's really, really important. And I think it was just to say that actually, just to sort of, if you could, maybe we could touch upon a couple of those points that you made earlier about actually the cyclical nature of just life, basically. I mean, obviously we're talking about the moon.
I'll pose you a question now.
Not me specifically, just everyone.
Yeah, or anybody that's able to answer. We live our lives by certain artificial cycles. Can you name any of them? I've managed to think of about 4.
Say again, artificial cycles?
Yeah, so
as in time,
alternative cyclical.
Yeah, so the 24-hour clock, 24-hour day, the months are, yeah, so that would have been sort of, yeah, 12 months and the days of those months and those kind of things as well. So that's a couple.
So how does that actually dictate your life? So I would say more in terms of like we're tied down to the academic calendar, a lot of us, especially if we have children in schools or if we're teachers or working within the school, we're tied to the academic calendar. That restricts what we can do. Other calendars that we're tied to would be the fiscal calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Other calendars I can think of is the football season. And then really all of us, yeah, well, depends on which way how you put it. These are all artificial calendars that we align ourselves to, and yet we are not aware of the cycles and the natural cycles that occur. And it's very important to try and observe those natural cycles. I mean, women have their own cycle, men, it might not be in the same way, but they certainly have their own cycles, you know, the endocrine cycles. There are certain things that happen in the body at particular times of day that we really don't appreciate.
Isn't there also a really interesting thing about when people should have hijama as well, around
yes,
particular dates of the lunar calendar as well? So again,
yeah,
that
so
sort of ties
it's
into it, I
around
suppose.
it's around the full moon, the white days of the moon, when the moon is at its fullest.
Mhm.
And if we think about it, we're 75% water. The moon has an effect on the tides of the earth, which, you know, it has a massive impact on that. The fact that the moon the sun, the earth is roughly 75% water as an entire body, and then we as humans are roughly 75% water as a being. Other entities, they also have, you know, other beings, plants, they all have their own cycles. I have this one really amazing little house plant. It's super beautiful, but it's the leaves and the flowers, they all go to sleep during the night. So come dusk time, the leaves start to close up, and the plant actually has its own little cycle where it goes to sleep. So, you know, nature observes these rules regardless of where we put it. I mean, this plant is a woodland plant. It should be somewhere under a tree, but in a pot in my house, it still observes those cycles. It still does what it is naturally supposed to do. It's just, as human beings, we've taken ourselves away from that.
And
So
that's
yeah,
almost to our detriment as well. So our physical, spiritual state has also been affected by that, would you say?
massively. Oh, massively. I mean, spiritually, yes, because we feel disconnected. Physically, yes, because we're not aligning ourselves with the cycle of even just if we speak about just in terms of a day. The day has a cycle, the sun rises and the sun goes down. There are optimal times that we should be sleeping, and the reason for those, if we are awake, certain hormones like the thyroid hormone will not operate properly, will not engage and do what it's supposed to do if we're awake at a time when it's supposed to be taken up by the body.
Mhm.
So that, you know, on a personal level, that hinders greatly in terms of performance, in terms of how one feels, even just in the aches in the body. So just maintaining the sleep cycles is a massive thing, and I'm sure Maulana Asim has been reading a book on this, and he would, you know, he could elaborate a lot more on this. But just the sleep cycles and obeying those sleep routines, it has a huge impact on our physical health, chronic stress situations, and also, you know, by observing nature, we're just a lot more in tune, we're a lot more calmer, and again, it's just about trying to minimize distractions as much as possible so that we are more aware to those natural rhythms. And as you try and kind of pull yourself back into the natural rhythm, it does become easier. But then life does have a way of putting a spanner in the works, as it were.
I think it's like you said earlier as well, is that there is now, inshallah, the opportunity for people So we definitely encourage people. I think, like you mentioned earlier, so I think we've been very lucky and blessed because you've obviously taken us through some of the constellations. So for those of you who went on the Karima retreat, lots of people went on the Karima retreat last year. Osmington Bay, again, you know, we were hoping inshallah to have another one this year, but you know, we'll see what happens with the lockdown situation. But we did have the opportunity to go through the constellations, and you know, you talked us through some of those things. And we also recently had an astronomy night up at the Castlewood Community Centre where children and adults, we had about 60 people, did we?
Yeah, I think it was about 60. It was really successful.
I'm sure most came for the marshmallows and the hot chocolate, but we did obviously have the opportunity to see the full moon as well. And I think what we're going to try to do is try to take a lot more, engage a lot more in terms of that over the next few weeks, or the next few months, sorry.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I'm sure you'll be helpful with that.
I mean,
yeah, go on.
I think really there are a couple of things, a couple of bodies that, you know, a couple of things that people can just go out and observe. They can go out and observe the moon at now. In the current phase that it's in, it will be visible early morning, or you know, at Seri time. It won't be visible during the day, so it will or the latter part of the day, it will certainly be visible.
And if someone has never had a look, where would they look? So they'd almost face the direction of prayer and to the right a little bit.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a decent image to put up. So if we go, yeah, so from our current location, so in terms of the compass locations, just identify where the sun rises and where the sun sets. Where the sun rises in the east, where it sets is in the west. They're your basic orientations. Now the sun and the moon, they follow the same path. So on your diagram at the moment, we are, as long as this is correct, we're roughly, if you can see where it is, we're going to be roughly about here. Yeah. So you're looking towards the east at Seri time. The thing is, it's going to be quite low, so people, if you have a high vantage point, you'll be able to see it. It's really, really amazing at the moment because it's you've got the moon with Jupiter and then followed by Saturn, and they are, you know, they're as clear as anything. As a set together, there aren't any other stars around them that you will be confused by. So you've got Jupiter first after the moon, and then you have Saturn. They're both looking like really bright stars that people can observe at the moment, and it is beautiful, I'm assured.
Okay. Just very quickly, so I was going to finish off on a couple of things. So someone has messaged in to say about where you mentioned cycles, and they kind of messaged and said about actually one of the main cycles, especially at this month, in terms of the month of recitation Quran, is also you shouldn't finish. When you finish, you should start again.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, you know, you shouldn't finish at the end of Surah Nas. If you finish at Surah Nas, you shouldn't be like, whoa, mashallah, I've done, pat myself on the back. You should actually start again, because it's constant, it's continual. It's like the moon and the sun rising and going down. And then just to very quickly finish off on, and I was just sort of thinking about or an essay that I'd read a little while back from a guy called Ralph Emerson. And he says, if the stars should appear one night in 1,000 years, how would men believe and adore and preserve for many generations the remembrance of the city of God, which they have been shown? But every night come out the envoys of beauty and light and the universe with their admonishing smiles. So just a reminder that, you know, actually, if we weren't able to see the stars, and you know, and we saw them just once in a year or 1,000 years, we would just say how amazing and wonderful it is. But it's an opportunity that's there for us every single night. So we should just go out and try to visit and visualize if we can. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much for coming on, and I hope that inspires people.
I do have just one other screen.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I can go back to my screen.
That will be someone else that's messing about with that. Do you want to just share your screen again? Can you go up down to the bottom of your screen?
I'm sharing. Okay, so I want people to go out
Okay, yeah.
and have a look out for the new crescent of Shawwal. And this month, inshallah, it should be fairly easy. It should be easier to spot in two ways. One way is the fact that Venus is currently in the skies at the moment. So as the sun sets, Venus is in the sky. And if you look to where the sun is setting, slightly to the left of that, you'll see Venus. Now on the 23rd of this month, which will be the 29th fast for us, the moon may or may not be visible. So it's similar to go out on the 29th of the month to see if we can spot the new halal for the following month. So the way this month, this new moon that's coming, it should be directly below Venus. So it's, if we have Venus as this, I don't know if you can see my pointer.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay, so if this is Venus, the moon should be directly below it. And then this is the horizon line where the earth meets the sky. So as the sun goes down, you might be able to spot the new moon.
So what we'll do
people...
is we will, so if people follow social media, Instagram, Facebook, we'll put up another poster just to remind people exactly how easy, what they need to do, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. That's
cool.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and showing us what we need to be looking out for, and inshallah we will all sort of take out the opportunity, and we definitely encourage people to do that, even if it's just to, you know, to remind themselves. And the you know, the Quran ayahs you mentioned earlier is you know, obviously they're really, really beautiful and they really help us, inshallah. So jazakallah khair, thank you so much. We've got, as I say, we have quite a lot to get through today, and I think Brother Iblal is online. So can you say hello, Brother Iblal? Are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. So Ismat, it's up to you if you want to stick around, because we will be announcing the winners of the poetry competition.
Okay,
and for
fantastic.
those who know Sister Ismat, she is also the librarian at the Karima, the Castlefield Community Centre Library. And Brother Iblal is going to be talking about the poetry competition.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, let me just. So, assalamu alaikum, everyone. We went through quite a few poems. There were 4 age categories. I personally was really impressed. Sister Parveen was immensely impressed as well with the younger group. There were some really funny poems and other ones more serious, talking about Ramadan for the first time in lockdown. And it was a good initiative put together by Brother Asim here, who, you know, wanted to promote creative writing in the younger subgroups of our community. And I think it's really important, especially this year, because Raja Ramzan hasn't been online. So this is alhamdulillah, it's a good platform to get people engaged, to get parents sat there and helping their kids with spelling, or, you know, just promoting. And I think Asim, sorry, off the top of my head, I don't remember the prizes that we had. Could you?
So what we've got for prizes, we thought very long and hard. We thought obviously people love chocolates, so that'd be really, really nice. But we decided actually that something a bit more useful, and maybe something that they could have more than bit more longer term. So for the younger ones, we've decided on vouchers for Waterstone vouchers for the winners. And we've also decided to have the Badr hoodies, which I'm sure if people haven't seen already, I'm sure they will get to see. But maybe Khiam could put a link up on the live chat. But Badr hoodies for the winners. Oh, there we go. That's mashallah. That's a lovely hoodie modeled by Hisham there. But the Badr hoodies for the winners. And we decided actually for the younger ones, because there were so many of the younger ones. We had over 50 poems to go through. So for the younger ones, we decided that they would get like a second and a third prize. So a Quran marker for second prize and a pen for the third prize as well. But for the older ones, it's just the winners, the first and second, first place.
Yeah, and
So,
I just wanted to highlight a line that I read from one of the poems. It was from a young lad in the 9 to 12 category, where he asks his mum, today for Iftari, can we have biryani? And his mum replies, no, maybe if it was me in my Jawani. I found that one quite funny. I was thinking, oh, there's a lot of little creative heads here. Definitely have to continue to push them. You know, creative writing and reading especially opens up whole new worlds for the younger generation, especially in today's day and age, where most of the content that we consume is through other channels, really giving them tools to think for themselves. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a few poet laureates one day, inshallah.
Okay, so do you want to announce the winners of? Should we start with a drum roll for the 8 and under category? So should we go 3, 2, 1?
Yeah. So for the under 8 categories, in third place we have Zara, and her prize,
mashallah,
pen and the £10 voucher. Then in second place we have Hashim, and his prize is a Quran marker and a £20 voucher.
mashallah.
In the
First place
is Hira, and
mashallah.
a hoodie and a £30 voucher.
Could you say that name again? I missed that name.
Hira, diamond.
Mashallah.
So what we'll do is we'll contact parents and we'll arrange whatever else needs to be arranged. But okay, so that's the 8 and under. So 9 to 12's category. The price is going to be the same.
In third place we have Amina, and her prize again is a pen and a £10 voucher for water.
Mashallah.
Second place.
And I know this next person actually listens a lot, so they're on the live chat. It's not you.
Is not, no.
You're not 9 to 12.
Second place is Maria. Congratulations,
Mashallah.
Maria.
Mashallah, Maria. Well done, Maria.
For second place, again, it's a Quran marker and a £20 voucher. And in first place, it was by unanimous decision, Tahira. And for first place, Tahira gets a hoodie, Badr hoodie, and a £30 voucher.
Cool. And then there were lots and lots of entries for those younger age groups. For the older ones, it was some really, really quality poems. So we decided for just the one winner. So 13 to 15, the winner is
Noor.
Mashallah.
Noor's
Oh my goodness. She's probably jumping somewhere downstairs. I hope that's my Noor.
That is your daughter, Noor, yes.
Okay, mashallah.
Oh, that's really sweet. And Noor gets a hoodie and a £30 voucher. Now, the £30 voucher, Asim and Parveen were in a discussion about whether it should be a Waterstones voucher or an Amazon gift card. We'd hope that if it is an Amazon gift card, that the parents do buy things for the winner.
Books, yes.
Yeah, we can buy them books.
So
maybe the books can be donated to the library, or the voucher can be donated to the library.
Maybe.
And for the 16 to 18, the winner is
16 to 18, the winner is Ibrahim.
Oh, mashallah. Double whammy.
So that's also Ismat's child.
Oh, taking home all the prizes. We've
So,
Oh, that's
got
fantastic.
and I would say that so there were 3 people who were judges. So obviously Sister Ustada Parveen, who is the head teacher at Creamer School, obviously Iblal and myself. And it wasn't easy. It was we did have quite a couple that we were just decided, yeah, definitely. Like Noor was unanimous. I think Ibrahim was pretty. Two of us said that he was the winner, and then the other one said he was second. So
yeah, I mean, it was massively tough to try and decide who should come out on top in first prize. I think it's a little bit unfair. There were a lot of close calls, and you know, especially the under 8 category. There's some in there that had absolutely amazing handwriting. There's some great talent out there, good rhyming schemes. Others, you know, put a lot of emotion into the poem. So keep it up, guys. Every one of you, even if you didn't win. Practice makes perfect. Keep at it. Hopefully, you know, maybe inshallah one day it'll be your turn.
And what we'll do is we will encourage those children. We'll arrange it. We'll talk to parents and we'll see if we can get them on to actually recite their poems as well.
Yeah,
inshallah.
that'd be really
Jazakallah khair. And Iblal, we're going to see you again on Sunday.
Inshallah, yep, Sunday.
So Iblal's going to be talking about the project the Creamer have been working on around COVID-19 and supports for those in isolation and those shielding. So inshallah, he's going to sort of elaborate a little bit more on that. But thank you very much for that. And inshallah, I'm going to pass straight over to Maulana. And I think we've taken up quite a bit of your time, Maulana.
It's okay. It's all right.
So apologies. So hopefully you've got 5 minutes.
How are you, Iblal? You okay?
I'm all right, man.
Alhamdulillah. Good, good.
We're going to let Iblal go because he's very busy with his iftar cooking.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we'll speak to you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya Muhammad al-Mustafa wa ala alihi al-Mujtaba. I'm literally going to I'm going to start from where Ismat, Auntie Ismat, I don't want to get in trouble actually. Where Auntie Ismat left
You're
off.
good. Whatever you want to call me.
Where she left off, and one of the verses that she used in her presentation was from Surah Yunus, verse 5, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب. That he, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one who has made the sun a form of light, and the moon a form of light. وَقَدَّرَ مَنَازِلَ لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ, and has determined for it phases so that you may know how to calculate and work out the years and to measure time. وَالْحِسَابِ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not created any of this except with a truth, except for a particular reason. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finishes the verses, يُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ, and he makes the signs clear for people for people of knowledge. And so the idea that the Quran is a complete source of knowledge, when you reflect on these verses of the Quran, when you contemplate on these verses of the Quran and understand these verses of the Quran, you realize that the Quran in fact is a complete source of knowledge. That the Quran contains many verses which address what was being spoken about, which addresses the astronomy and the cosmology. And there are so many verses of the Quran which speak about the natural sciences and the fact that the universe is more than what it actually appears to us. It's way more than what we see. And what's astonishing is in these verses of the Quran is the language that's being used. Is the language that's being used in these verses of the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the sun, and he says, هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء, that it is he subhanahu wa ta'ala who has created the sun, ضياء, a light, as a form of light. And ضياء, Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah ta'ala says that ضياء, what ضياء means is ما يضيء الأشياء. It's that which gives light to other things. It's that which
is the source of light. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the sun, the verses say daya'an, it's that which gives light. And when the moon is being described here, wal qamara, and the moon, and Allah created the moon also, but the moon is being described as nuran. And nur, Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah ta'ala in his tafsir says, wa nuru ma yubayyinu. Nur is that which reflects, which makes something appear. It's not the source per se, but it's what reflects. It's that which reflects. And this is the reality. This is what we know the sun to be and what we know the moon to be, that the sun is source and the moon just reflects that light and doesn't have a light of its own. And so when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls upon calls upon these types of creations and makes mention of them in the Quran, then the reason is so that we contemplate and understand. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the sun and the moon, so we could take benefit from it, so we could calculate the time, then what is our purpose? What is the purpose of mankind? What is our purpose and for the time that we are on the earth? And then what's our purpose? And the verse is finished with yufassirul ayati liqawmin ya'lamun. He makes the message clear for a people. Yufassirul ayat, he makes the message clear for a people ya'lamun, who are not that they are people who understand, not the people of knowledge. No, ya'lamun, a verb is being used here for the people who are willing to understand, for the people who are willing to learn. It's for them. And so if we don't want to understand Allah, and if we don't want to know our purpose, then none of this really matters. The sun and its perfection, the moon, the clouds, the rain, the skies, the mountains, the deserts, the seas, the rivers, none of this really matters if we don't want to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Asim mentioned this at the end of his reminders often, he said, everything is created for us and we are created for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so all of this, the astronomy and cosmology and other sciences, they are there for us to appreciate our creator, the perfect one, the God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of this is to appreciate subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the next verses are incredible. Inna fi اختلاف الليل والنهار وما خلق الله في السماوات والأرض لآيات لقوم يتقون. Surely in the changing, in the alteration of the day and the night, and in all that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in the heavens and the earth, there are signs. There are truly signs for those who are mindful of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, for those who have taqwa. And again, there's being made mention at the end that these are only signs for people who want to gain taqwa, who want to guard and who want to protect themselves. And so so those that want to know, to know on its own is just not enough. It doesn't suffice. And there are plenty of people that want to learn Islam as a topic, as a phenomenon, as a philosophy, namely the Orientalists. And you hear people, I've read the Quran and it's so fascinating, absolutely is fascinating, and their curiosity is satisfied. But that's not all. This is a sign for those who want to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those that want to read the Quran to satisfy their curiosity, then their curiosity will be satisfied. And those that want to read the Quran with an open heart to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then their hearts will connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the verses of the Quran, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. If we had sent down Quran upon a mountain, you would have seen it humble itself and split from the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. We are citing this example for mankind so that they may take heed. And one of the tabi'un said that if this is the case of a hard mountain, then what should be the state of a soft heart? And so these verses, if we are open to these verses, then the verses will be open to us. And so if we see the Quran as as a way of connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then everything that we see in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala making mention of the creation of the sun and the moon and the phases of the moon, this all will lead to us connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is our purpose. This is why we are here for, and everything else is for us, and we are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the understanding, the true understanding of the Quran, this miraculous book, and that is gifted to the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this miraculous month.
Again, I think, just fascinating reminders and just something, inshallah, that we can reflect on and take upon. So we've only got a few minutes left, so Maulana, thank you so much. And if you would like to start the dua to take us through to iftar time.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك اللهم الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار يا عظيم يا عظيم اغفر الذنب العظيم فإنه لا يغفر الذنب العظيم إلا العظيم لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك اللهم الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك اللهم الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار يا عظيم اغفر الذنب العظيم فإنه لا يغفر الذنب العظيم إلا العظيم لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك اللهم الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله